So welcome to Taste of Tomorrow. Today we're joined by Kim Johnson, who is actually the leader of this project, and she's here to talk to us about hemp. Welcome, Kim.
Thank you, Susan.
So Kim, tell us, why is hemp so good for us?
Is an amazing food product. So you eat the seeds of the hemp plant, and it's a complete protein. So it has every amino acid that the human body needs in there. It's also really high in dietary fiber and has some amazing oils. So the omega-3 and omega-6 oils that our body needs. And it's just all round a fantastic food product. So,
but hang on a minute. You say we eat it. I thought hemp was a hippie drug and that, you know, people could get high off hemp. If we eat it, aren't we going to have a population of people walking around off their tree?
Hemp is a fascinating plant. This is one of the reasons why I love working with it. So hemp is used for a whole range of products, including drugs and medicines. But it's also, so the part that you eat is the seed, and the seed does not contain any of these drug chemicals. So you're perfectly safe to consume them. But other parts of the hemp plant you can use, not only the seeds, you can use the stems, and that's used for fibers, for clothing and other textiles. And the part of the plant that you get the drugs from is in the flowers. So there's lots of parts of the hemp plant that you can use, and so they've been bred for different purposes for thousands of years.
So what do you think we should change about our current agricultural practices to make hemp a better resource for us?
So hemp is interesting. So it can grow in lots of different places. It tends to grow in more tropical environments, but it can be bred for different areas of Australia. So we could grow it in a lot of different areas in Australia. And one of the really great things about hemp, it's really quick growing, so really fast. It's pretty disease resistant, I guess, because it does have a lot of these chemicals that tend to keep herbivores and things that eat it away from it. And it's pretty drought tolerant as well. It does need water. All plants need water, but it doesn't use as much as some of the other, for example, fiber crops or textile crops that are out there. And so if we could adapt it for the Australian environment, then it would be a really productive plant that we could use in Australia.
So can we grow it all year round?
No. So that's one of the really interesting things about hemp. It is a plant which only flowers in short days, so essentially in winter. So it can grow over the winter months, but in the summer it just keeps growing without flowering, which is okay if you want it for the textiles, for the stems. But if you want it for the seeds, then you really need it to flower and set seed. So that's something that people are working on, including myself. We're looking at what actually controls these, the flowering. So we know that the day length is important, but if we could breed plants that don't respond to that day length, they just flower after a certain amount of growth, that would be really fantastic for the agricultural industry because we could grow it all year round.
So your research is looking at how to increase it as a food supply, is that right?
But I'm really interested in this flowering. So what are these triggers for the flowering, and can we manage to control that? Can we find plants which, as I said, are insensitive to these day length signals? Another part of the plant I'm really interested in is its stems. So I'm really interested in these long fibers and how they're produced and can be used for the textile industry, and what gives them their strength and structure.
Potentially looking at modifying the plant in order to enhance one particular feature of it. Is that what you're looking at?
We use genetic modification and genetic techniques all the time in the lab so that we can really understand the plants and how they grow, and also what are the really key regulators that are involved in this process.
Great. So tell us something that we don't know about hemp then.
Well, you mentioned earlier about hemp being a drug, and that's absolutely correct. So I guess some people may not realise that hemp and cannabis are exactly the same plant. So it's just that it's been bred for different purposes. So some have been bred for marijuana, for the drug type, and hemp has also been bred for the fibers for this and all the seeds. So it's really about the chemicals that are being produced in these plants that determine, and its other properties like its stem length, which determine what applications it's used for. So it's a really quite diverse plant, and you can use almost every part of it, which I think is one of the great things about it.
So do you use it in your diet?
And I'm exploring what I can integrate it, how I can integrate it into my cooking. So the seeds are really great on salads and things. They've got a really sort of nutty flavour. I'm experimenting at the moment with a hemp pesto, so that's something I'm excited to learn about. And there's a baker, which I've been talking to in Shepparton, that's going to make us some hemp bread. So I'm very excited about that.
Thanks so much, Kim. That's absolutely fascinating. I can't wait to read a lot more about hemp and try it in my diet.
Thanks, Susan.